Okay, so, I'm trying to have that talk with her, reassuring her that I told her, I was like, everyone makes mistakes. She's like, they're not mistakes. I do them deliberately. And I was like, it's okay. I was like, I mean, it's not okay, but it's understandable, and we all do it, and we still love you. Um, we could never stop loving you. And then she's pretty quiet the rest of the ride home. We get home, putting groceries away, that kind of thing. She seemed a little hyper with Paul, but like in the normal range. And I was like, "Did you get any rest?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I just couldn't stop doing stuff like dishes and cleaning up and yard work." And I was like, "You should have been in bed." And he's like, "I know. I couldn't." So he's got like red eyes and like snivelly nose, and he looks weak. And but she wasn't. She knew he was sick, and she wasn't being too. I don't know. I don't recall her at that point being insane because I felt comfortable saying, "Hey, I'm going to go in the music room and do some writing," which I didn't do last week and maybe the week before. And I was starting to get really anxious that I was losing touch with my routine and everything. So I go in there to write, and the only like weird thing that I heard coming from them was sometimes the music would get really, really loud, and then like I wouldn't hear it, and then it would get really, really loud. And like I was so focused on my writing, I didn't even think about what was going on. And it wasn't bothering me. I didn't think about it. And I wrote for probably 90 minutes, and I came out, and Paul looked like his soul had died, and she was running around. And when I came out, he's like, she's been awful, and he was like, she kept like blasting the music, and I would turn it down, and she'd blast it again, and I was really anxious that it was bothering you, and it was driving me insane. And I was like, well, it wasn't bothering me, but I'm sure it was driving you insane. I understand. And she just, for the next few hours, it's hard to describe how it was like her body, she was like possessed by a demon. Her body was really tense. Like if you touched her at all or held her, like it was like really rigid. And she had this dress on that had like a tie, so you could make it tighten it, and like anyway, she was like chewing on it like really hard, and I was like almost like a teething thing. I was like, are you teething? Like, what, are your teeth bothering her? Because she's losing teeth and new teeth are coming in. And I was like, maybe that's painful. And she was like, it's not painful. And Paul was like, yeah, you've got a couple of new teeth coming in. She's like, no, I don't. So it was weird. But the demon part was she would throw herself onto Paul on the couch, like really aggressively, and like start pulling his ears and stuff. And he was like, I don't feel well. And then like it started really pissing me off, and I was like, stop, daddy's sick, stop it. And that would make her laugh. And then she would go and like start throwing shit and at him, and it's almost like a blur. It was really bad. And she would shriek and scream, and but laughing. And like anything that bothered us, and obviously bothered us, which was like many things, she would laugh maliciously. She was also just like running around and at times I'd try to reason with her. I'd be like, wow, you like have a lot of energy, like, or what are I was like, what's going on, like, how are you feeling right now? Like, you're really like, you've been hurting daddy when he doesn't feel well, and like, is something really bothering you? Like, it seems like maybe something's bothering you, and that's how you're showing it. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like, can you talk to us? Can you talk to me? And she'd be like, nothing's bothering me. And like, I don't even know if that's like a psychologically appropriate way to talk to her. Because I do know that something is bothering her and she doesn't have the tools cognitively or verbally to express it. But I was like trying to draw that out of her. Like, please stop what you're doing. And like, what's going on? Like, if I could only understand. And then I'd be like, do you want to take a bath? A bubble bath? And she's like, no. Like, things she usually likes. So, okay, I did two bad things. She was being really rough with Paul. We're sitting on the couch. The computer table is like kind of too close to the couch. There's not a lot of room. I'm sitting next to Paul. And I snap. And I was like, stop. And I pick her up. And she's really wiggling and like laughing. And I kind of get her into like this position where I'm holding her like this, so she's like that, somehow to like keep her head away from me. And somehow she wiggled her way and starts biting my arm really, really hard. And my intention had been to sequester her in the bedroom and just be like, you're staying here until you calm down. You can't do what you've been doing. I'll stay here with you, or I'll leave. It's up to you, but you can't. That was my intention. But the biting enraged me, and I get to our bedroom door, and the linen closet door is like right there. And I don't really stop myself from letting her, from like kind of her head hitting the linen closet door. Like, it was like this struggle for me to open the bedroom door because she was like so wild. And I could have pulled back enough for her, like, oh, I don't want her to bump her head. But I was like, I knew she was probably going to bump her head. And it was kind of hard. And I was just screaming. And of course, it's like, I'm evil. I did the bad thing. Maybe I did. And then we get in there, and I throw her onto the mat that's next to the bed. Like, not hard, but I drop her. And then I get down, and I pin her by her shoulders. And I was like, stop it. I was like, you're hurting Daddy. You're screaming. You're out of control. I'm like, you have to stop. Like, this is not the way to handle it. But I had snapped, like pinning her down, and she's screaming, but she's just laughing. She's laughing at me and screaming. And I realized also later that I had her pinned down by her dress. I thought I had her by her shoulders, but it was like a dress was kind of thick straps, and like it was a loose dress. So I did have her pinned down, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. But the intention was bad. And she's screaming to high heaven and at the same time smiling and laughing at me, and it felt demonic. And Paul comes in because I can hear this like madness. He doesn't say anything. He's like watching, and I was like, I don't remember what I said, just like, you gotta stop, like, you're out of control, whatever. And he I don't remember, like, blacked out. It ended. Oh no. Wait, something else. I think she got released because Paul was there. We left the room, and like nothing changed. It was just screaming, running, throwing things, jumping on Paul, like having a weird, malicious laugh, seeming possessed. And he and I were like freaked out. We're like, this is the worst night we've ever had with her. Like, and I was like, I want to give her an eighth of a Klonopin. And he's like, don't do that. I was like, I want to give her rum. I want her stopped. I was like, she has to be stopped. I would, if I had been alone with her, I would have given her some Klonopin. Anyway, like a little piece. So, then, God damn it, there's more happened. More happened I don't remember. It was probably attacking Paul. Something enraged me again, and I didn't want a repeat of me manhandling her, her biting me. So, I was regretful about all that. So, I took her by the hand and I was like, come on. I guess like my mom voice kicked in enough, like where she was like, okay. So we walked into, my mom voice had not been working up to that point. We walk into the bedroom and she gets on the mat and she says something really bitchy and rude to me. And she's punching me, and so it's like blocking her punches. And then I took one of her arms, and I kind of was lightly squeezing it, and I was like, don't fuck with me, I can really hurt you. And she was like, I can really hurt you. I know, she's like, I would like that. And I was like, you're not hearing me, I can really hurt you. And she's like, I can really hurt you. And I was like, you're not getting it. I am a lot bigger than you are. And I didn't say I could kill you, but I was like, I could do terrible, awful things to you. I can really, really hurt you. And I don't want to. And if I did, I would feel very, very bad for the rest of my life. But I want you to know that I can, and that I have a problem with anger sometimes, and that's what I take medicine for. But you've seen me snap, you've seen me yell at you. What if it went further? It could. I've been violent before. I'm capable of it. I would like to think I'm not capable of doing that to you, but I don't think you should take the chance. I don't think you should be hitting me or Daddy or spitting or kicking, because it makes me feel rage, and that's the danger point. And I was like, you can be angry, you can feel any emotion you want, but you can't hurt us. And if you hurt me enough or Daddy enough, I could snap and hurt you a lot worse. Please understand this. And like I was a mafia person. I felt like I was in the mafia. Like the way I'm just telling you now is more like, don't fuck with me. And I started feeling like I was insane. And I think she started hitting me again, screaming. And so I was like, I gotta get out of this room. I was like, you're staying in here. Like, you can't come out until you know how to behave. And I got up, and like I could hear her running toward the door. So I held it closed for a few moments, and then I was like, no, like, don't do that. So I let it go. I was like 5 seconds that I like was holding the door shut, and then I let it. It seemed like an illegal restraint or something. So she was running down the hall, like screaming how I locked her in the room, and like that seemed to be like her biggest concern, more than the like threats that I just made. Almost 14 minutes again. So it was fucking insane. And then finally she started calming down. Paul made her go in the room. He was like, why don't you go draw? Because it was getting close to our time. And she did. And she drew really evil drawings of me. It was fine. Getting her anger out that way is better. And then time is up. There might be a part 3.